Hi, welcome to Allbrands After Hours with me, Courtney Douthat, the show where we hang out and craft together. So if you've got a project that you're currently doing, go ahead and grab it and let's craft together. So today's project is going to be one I'm pretty excited about, which I'm excited for all of them. But now that we're in the Christmas season of it all and holiday seasons, we're going to be making what I've seen as a Santa treat board. Courtney, what is a Santa treat board? Great question. So a Santa treat board is when you have a board. So I have this big cutting board, and it doesn't have to be this big. I'm just extra. Get that off there. I'm just extra. So it's a big old board. So what it is you can put like Dear Santa and different icons on it and have a spot for like his milk, his cookies, a treat for the reindeers. And then that way every Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve, I said that right, you can put those out with your kids or grandkids, and then it's something special and they know where to put each item. And then the next morning when they come and some of it's eaten, it's something fun. It's like a plate, but it's just a bigger board. And you can do these with all sorts of different images, really can get creative. Now I did print off a little one off the internet, and before everyone asks where I found this, I just typed in Santa treat board and tons of them popped up, and I just saw one that I liked and I hit print. I didn't have to buy anything, because remember, ScanNCut, we don't have to buy anything. We can turn any image into a cut file. So this one I thought was cute, especially because it had love, and now I can put the Douthat family. And then it's personalized to my kids, and we could change it up. So I decided if I didn't like one of these trees, or I didn't like one of the candies or something like that, well, with my ScanNCut, I could edit it out, or I could add things, because the machine has so much built in. If I wasn't being lazy, like I currently am, there's a candy cane on there, there's, candy on there, there's trees, there's different things. I could make this from scratch. So I didn't have to print anything out. I can make it from scratch with my ScanNCut, but this is just super easy, so I just went ahead and printed it out. If I found one I didn't like, then it's nice to have that option. But I found one that I really like this one. I think it's cute. So let's get going. What we're gonna do is, it's a big old board. I like how I picked the biggest board available. We're gonna scan this in. We need our scanning mat. Remember, you can do it on any of the mats, but I wouldn't put paper to a standard or a fabric mat, because that's gonna be a nightmare. Now, since my image is only this big, that would just be the center of my board. It's nice that with scanning it into my ScanNCut, I can now resize it to make it as big as I want on the board, which is nice. All right, so we're gonna scan her in. We're gonna wake her up. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and feed her in. Scan. We're gonna not scan direct, because remember that's like fussy cutting if you just want to cut straight onto it. We don't want to do that with our scanning mat. We're going to scan to cut data. We're gonna hit start and start. And that was just asking me about the lever on the side, but that's fine. All right, there she goes. She's scanning in. And it's cool part, she just scans out the back. You can't see her, but she just scans out the back and she scans back in. So I usually tell people, keep it a little distance from the wall, which I'm short, so I usually have things on the table closer to me anyways. All right, so we're gonna unload her. There we go. All right, and then we're done with this. That's it. That's all we needed her for. She's done. We're gonna throw her on the floor, and then later I have to go pick her up, so it's fine. All right, so now that we have our image, okay, so here's our image. Now, we have different options that we can do. Do we just want the outer parts of everything? Well, no, because I think it would be cool to have the inside of that candy cane, the inside of the carrot, the tree, I think that would be cool. So we could come to this one right here. And now it gives us all the little bitty pieces, which is what I wanted. I'm gonna scroll in right here, because it caught the end of the paper, because it's such a good scan that it literally catches everything. So we're gonna hit preview. All right, everything looks good to me. Let's go ahead and set okay. And it's going to ask us, where do we want to save to? Well, I want to save to my machine. All right, hit okay. And now if we come back home, hit okay. Retrieve data to our machine, because I remember that's where we saved it. We can now come here to where we saved it and hit okay. And it brings us to our edit screen. I'm actually going to hit edit, and I'm going to select this little line right here because I see the edge of my paper. I did not delete that part out, and I'm just going to delete it out. So this would be the time if you didn't like anything, if you wanted to change something, add something, do whatever you wanted, you could do that now. I like the placement of everything. I think it looks really great. However, if I wanted to, say I wanted these candies to be a certain color, the carrot to be a certain color, I could now move it so then that way it's the color of them. So I think this looks great because I want to do the whole thing in black. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit these 3 right here. We're going to select all of them, hit OK, and now we're going to come and weld them together. So that way when I move this, it all stays together. But when we resize, it's now resizing all together. So like breathing all together. Now, since it is a 12 by 12 space, it's only going to be right here. So if I wanted to add that on there and then maybe put my own right here, I could do that. If I wanted it to be this whole big span, what I could do is I could separate the image and have it cut out the 12 by 12 this one and then have it cut out the rest of it if I wanted to do that. However, for me, since I want this huge image, I don't want to have to break it up in parts. I'm going to do a 12 by 20 format and cut it this way instead of cutting it this way. I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so we're going to be using a giant 12 by 20 format. Courtney, this giant mat has to fit in there. Same way, you feed it in, it's going to cut this way. So you still have your 12 by 12, but now you've doubled the size you can go this way at 12 by 24. I like how I'm literally going off the edge of the table. And it works great. So this one is brand new. Haha. I treated myself to some new ones. Okay, I thought it'd be fun. That's my little Christmas gift to myself, and hopefully I'll be able to do a gift guide, like a crafter's gift guide. I keep calling us crafters because I sew, I quilt, I embroider, I applique, I scan and cut. So I just kind of general term crafters. What do you call yourself when you do all the different fun things? All right, so we have this. So before I put it on there, let's go ahead and set our design so she can come onto this nice big area. Okay, so currently we've got this. However, we want to change this. That's as big as she can go. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually rotate her. There we go. So now the long part can go down. Now if I was here to try to resize, it's telling me, hey, if you want to do that, you're going to go into a 12 by 24, which is perfect because that is what I'm doing. So we're going to make her as wide as we can. And now remember we have that 12 by 24, so we're not limited the other way. So she's hit her width. I know it's all directional now. Her width this way. So now we know no matter what her height is now, we're good because of that 12 by 20 format. It's only a 17.38, so we are good. So we're gonna hit okay. Okay again. Okay, so now that we've got that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come to this wrench icon. We're going to come here and we're gonna tell it instead of a 12 by 12, we want the 12 by 24. Now it's giving us that whole area. So now if we come back, none of that bottom part is grayed out. And now we can edit it, do whatever we want to it. Now I've realized that the love part down at the bottom isn't gonna be able to fit our name when it is this big. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to come here to size. And I'm going to hit this button right here. And what this does is it locks one of those. So if I was to select the height and not the width, it would lock one of them. So that way it's not doing it like it's breathing, measuring it all at once and resizing it all at once. So what we're going to do is we're going to lock it, and then I'm going to take away some of that width. Not a good bit of it, just a little. All right. So now I can fit in the Douthat family at the bottom, depending on how big I wanted it. Now another great thing about this being pressure sensitive vinyl is if I want to come here and say, okay, or this being a ScanNCut, could be heat vinyl, doesn't matter. I want to ungroup them, and I would hit okay, come here, unselect all of them, and then I could come over here and I could select just maybe this reindeer right here. Let's go over here, size her. I could come here, just select his parts, like that, hit okay, then it only does that, and then that way I could come here willed that part together, and now I can move this down so that way when my name's right there, it doesn't look weird that all these are up here. I could add more of these stars if I wanted to add more of these stars and fill in that area with stars. I could add additional things if I wanted to. If I wanted to bring some of the candies over here or more snowflakes. Like I'm going to take this snowflake right here. I'm going to add him, hit that I want 2 of him, see those snowflakes, and then I'm going to grab him and just bring him over here. And now he's filled in that gap. I could add additional things. If I wanted to add this star right here, see it, I'm going to add another one. And I could rotate them, do whatever I want with them. So now it looks like there's a border that comes down. So that way when I do our name across, it looks good. So I'm going to come here. I've got both of my pieces right there. I'm going to hit OK. Now it's going to select all of those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld them together, remember? And now I'm going to say, hey, I want 2 of these. So now it's giving me 2. Well, Courtney, that looks really weird with 2 candy cane like that. Exactly. So we're going to flip them. Now we could have it like this, where it's 2 candy cane right there. That's really cute if we wanted to do that. Or what we could do is we could flip them, yes, but we could also rotate them, anything like that. So let's flip them. Oh, that's really, really cute. I'm gonna unwield them because what I'm gonna do is, I don't like how that candy cane's hanging, or this candy's hanging off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to just take the pieces of that and I'm going to delete them out because you know what? I decided I don't want them. Come here, get all their little bits, and of course you can put these all together, but I'm just going to delete this out fast. Okay, so now I could just select this guy like this. Okay, grab that candy cane, weld him all together. And now I can just move him like that. So now he's at the border of my design and it looks great. So I actually want him to be a little over. Instead of doing it with my finger or the stylus, I'm just going to hit the directional keys. Now if you notice it's got crosses on all these things, it's because it's giving you a point to base them off of. So we're going to hit OK. And now I think that that is going to be a great spot to be able to put our name. So let's go ahead and throw that name in real quick. We're going to pattern, we're going to go here. And we're going to decide which font we want. I'm thinking this one looks the most like it. So we're going to do the Douthat. There we go, Douthat family. There we are. I'm going to hit OK. And we're going to hit set. Now, we do that and you're like, Courtney, where is it? It's down here. Which honestly looks kind of cool on the side, I'm not going to lie. But that's not where we wanted it. So we're going to hit Object Edit and we're going to rotate it like that. And now we can bring it over to where we wanted it and position it in. And we could resize it if we wanted to. I feel like I might because we've got a bit of room. Now if you notice, it's running into our candy cane right here. I don't want to take the candy cane away because I like that part. So I'm going to make sure that it's over here as much as it can. And again, we could take away anything we wanted to. But we could also come here. Oh, not there. We could come here to size it. So we're going to lock one side. Remember, we're going to lock one side. And then now we're going to mess with the width. Make the width a little bit bigger. Because we have the room, why not, you know? Okay, that looks good. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit with my directional keys. Because I feel like it was a bit high. Yes, I love that. However, remember, we've got some hanging off of here. So we're going to come back to the sizer. And we're going to, remember it's locked. And we're going to decrease that height some. Till it's off of that candy cane, which looks really, really good. We're gonna come on this side. Oh, well, okay, let's bring her up a little like that. Now we're gonna go check the other side. Oh, looks good. We could even expand it more if we wanted to. Why do I always hit the plus and minuses? All right. There we go. All right, now that looks really great. I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit and I think we'll be done with that part. Look over there. Oh, it's perfect. Oh, it's so good. All right, now I've now customized that printout to have my family's name on it, and I think it looks really, really great. We could have, you know, moved any of this around. If I wanted the name to be bigger, if I wanted it to be in the center, I could have moved whatever I wanted to around. So we're gonna hit OK. OK again, and that's it, guys. Unless we want to change the colors and have the carrot to be cut out in orange, to have, you know, this to be that. I'm doing mine just in a plain one color. I might add a few little bits of colors later on, but I think this is a great starting point. Now you see how to bring an image in, how to edit that image, how to change that image to be exactly what you're wanting it to be, and we're good to go. So we've got that on here. Let's prep our vinyl. So we've got the big giant 12 by 24 mat. She's huge. So I'm gonna decide, put my stuff away so I don't lose it. I realize I've been showing you my standard 12 by 24. This is my low tech. So pressure sensitive vinyl, let's do that, has a paper backing to it. Remember, paper backing and the vinyl's up front. So with that, I want a low tack mat because that's my paper mat. If I put it on my standard, it's gonna rip up that paper, and then there's paper all over my mat. So what we want is the 12 by 24 and the low tack. So, all right, so we got our vinyl on here. I'm thinking, I don't want to do gold. I think for this wood, it would look really nice with black and maybe accents of gold. I think it would be cute, unless we wanted to do, because then you can see the outline better on the wood. Because red and green would be cute, but I don't know. I'm thinking I like the black look, so let's try it. Okay, so we have the black. Remember, paper backing, so I'm just gonna set it on here. And it's actually a little long for this mat, but that's fine if it hangs off the end. This is just what I had on hand. So I'm gonna stick that on there. Make sure she meets all the corners. Okay, now this would be a great time to get my brayer tool and spray it on there, because I want to make sure that it's on that mat. Especially since it's a low tack mat, it's not super sticky because it doesn't want to hurt the paper, but I still wanted to have a good stick, so, oh my gosh, it's, the brayer, I don't know what it is about this, it's like a little steamroller. It just makes it lay on there so pretty. And then I feel like I'm less likely to get like bubbles in my vinyl or anything like that. It kind of pushes them all out. All right, so we gave her a good little braid. Oh my God, it sits on there so good. It's so good. Everyone's like, is it necessary? You could use the back of your hand. Yeah, you could use your hand to do like this. And I do a lot of times, but something about the brayer that steamrolls it good. All right, throwing that on the floor. There we go. All right, so let's load her in. She's a big old mat. Do-do-do. Boop. It's so long. It's just completely hanging off of there, which I prefer. I like not having that limitation. It's so great that it's so big, but it's just funny sometimes. All right, so we're gonna please select, and we are gonna cut. Courtney, you don't have a blade in there. Yeah, I just realized that too. All right, so I'll lift her up. Now, for vinyl, there it is. For vinyl, we're gonna want to use this black blade. If you don't have the vinyl blade, you're gonna want to use the black blade if you don't have the vinyl blade. I prefer the vinyl blade because I do a lot of vinyl, so buying that kit was really worth it for me. If that's not worth it for you, then the black auto blade will do it and it'll be fine. This just gives a nicer cut in my opinion. So like I said, if you're doing a lot of vinyl, it's worth it. If you're not doing a lot of vinyl, and if you're the owner of Allbrands, you did not see that. Thanks. All right, so we're gonna drop her in there, close her on up. We're gonna make sure half cut is on. What is half cut? So half cut is when, since vinyl is two parts, heat transfer vinyl, pressure sensitive vinyl, it's all two parts. We wanna make sure that we're only cutting through half of that because that paper backing's keeping it all together. All of our little letters on there, we'd have to do one by one if it wasn't keeping it all together. So I'll show you more, but make sure half cut is on. That is a huge thing about the ScanNCut, is having that. So there's no setting your pressures, there's setting your blades depending on the material. It's an auto blade. So it automatically, when you tell it half cut, it's automatically only going to cut through half of that material which is really awesome. So any SDX model is gonna have that feature, which is probably one of the coolest things that has ever happened with ScanNCut. And I'm a huge ScanNCut nerd, so trust me. All right, so half cut is already on because I was doing vinyl earlier, and everything looks good. So we should do a test cut, but we're not, so we're gonna hit start. All right, now she told me 16 minutes. 16 minutes is quite a lot. Remember, we have a lot of those little intricate parts to it. It's gonna give you worst case scenario. That way, if I'm making multiple of these, say my sisters watch this video, and they're like, hey, where's our board with our family names on them? Well, Parsons and Moores, I've got you. I'll make you one. But while that's cutting out a next one, I could be over here doing their boards, and, you know, and doing an assembling line. We're in Christmas season right now. We're in holiday season. So we've got a lot of projects going. So it's nice to have something that does a lot of it for you. So say I'm cutting out appliques for Christmas shirts or for a Christmas quilt. Well, it's doing that while I could be doing my other stuff. So while she's cutting out, I've done the ScanNCut 101 video. I have plans to do the ScanNCut 102 video, which is just a whole different things of, okay, you know your basics, let's move on top of that. We're going to be, what's the word, you know, adding on top of it. But I also want to do a ScanNCut video of ScanNCut things that no one's ever told me, or I had to find out the hard way, so that would be a lot of fun. So definitely tell me if you guys would like that video. I love doing the project videos, mostly because I have projects I need to do, so you guys are helping me, so I appreciate that. But I think it'd be really cool to branch out and do different things. So let me know what you would like to see in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like these videos. That's the number one way to tell me, is if you're liking them, hitting the like button. That tells me, hey, keep doing them. If no one likes them, then I won't do them. All right, we are done. So I'm going to unload her. Thank you, machine. You did fabulous. Close her up. And I'm just going to spin her this way to give me a little extra room. I am out of breath today. I don't know what it is. All right, so now you have two different options. You could leave it on here while you're weeding, and it does hold it down. So I know mine's a long roll, and I don't want it rolling on me. So I'm actually going to leave it on my sticky for a little bit. So I'm going to, I got to stop throwing things on the floor. I'm going to get here, and I'll link all the tools that I'm using, because we always get that question. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this little bitty, I'd say it's a dentist tool. It looks like a dentist tool, guys. And what we're going to do is we're going to start coming here, and we're going to be picking at it, because I want to weed off the parts that I don't want. So like this. I'm going to weed it off and put it in here. So a little trick that I do, which I haven't seen anyone do, that people do variations of it, is I like to come here, and I like to take my weeding paper, my transfer paper, and I like to get a little bit of it, and then take off that backing like this, and where you see the sticky part on here, and I like to put it upside down. If you do have tape, this works too, but I always have transfer tape on me. And now when I'm weeding and I get a bit that I don't want, I can just take it. If I take this, and if any vinyl gets stuck on my blade, I can come here onto the sticky part and it'll stick on there. So that way I'm not fighting with it, I just stick it on the sticky thing. And transfer tape's not super sticky, so if I had actual like tape around me, I probably could just do it with that, and then I'm not wasting my transfer tape. But it's nice to have something sticky that I can just go like this. And I'll zoom the camera in, because I like to watch people weed. I'm weird. Now you can see it a little bit better. And like I said, now I'm gonna come around to the parts that I want, but having that picking tool is super duper helpful, so that way I can just pull off the things I don't want instead of fighting with them. So that's all we're doing right now, is just we're taking off the parts we don't want. Oh, look at that carrot. That's so cool. I am such a nerd. I think it's neat. And we'll put this on a time lapse so you guys don't have to watch me so slowly. Now, right now, what I decided to do, because I mean I could pick off individually, but I think it'd be kind of cool if I just took the main part off. However, when I do this, I like to have my scissors nearby, because I want to do it in parts, because if I was to pull that whole thing off, it could possibly go back and curl on itself, and I don't want it to get stuck to the parts that I want to keep. So I like to do it in sections. And what I'm doing is, while I'm weeding it out, while you see how I'm pulling it off, I'm putting it and I'm balling it up in my hand. That way there's no chance of it going back on my design and getting stuck to something I don't want it to get stuck to. So again, I'm getting a little sticky where I don't want, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna cut. So you wouldn't have to do this if you're doing a small design. It's just because I'm doing such a large design that I'm having to do it. But if it was a small design, you really wouldn't have to do that. Still, make sure that pieces don't get stuck to each other, but you wouldn't really have to cut that much. That's just because this is big and I don't really want to make a oopsie. Okay, now that I've got all of my pieces done, we are completely weeded out. I'm going to remove all the vinyl bits so nothing gets lost in anywhere. Put that in my trash can. Alright, so we're going to take her off and throw it on the floor. You know how we do this, guys. Now with heat transfer, we would just put it on there, heat it up, but this is pressure sensitive vinyl, so whole different ball field. So 2 parts. Remember, we've got the paper backing and we've got the vinyl. We've weeded out the parts we don't want. And I'm still checking it, making sure I've weeded everything off. We're good. Unlike heat transfer vinyl, once it's on, it's on. It's hard to get off. Pressure sensitive, you could still move it, even if it's a permanent. So I think it looks so good. I'm so excited. Now to get this off of here, onto here perfectly, what is that? There we go. We're gonna have to use something called transfer tape. So transfer tape looks like this. It's like a big giant sticker. But what it does is it holds on to here. That way we can lift it off that paper and put it onto whatever we want. So I'm gonna grab my scissors and I'm gonna cut off a piece that will fit this. And the great thing about like Brother transfer tape paper, there's different ones, but they have a nice grid on theirs, which is nice. And whenever I use this, I'm putting this back on the paper because I will be doing more of these, but it's reusable as long as it's sticky. So got that. There's the paper backing part of it, and there's the clear part. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be smart because this is sticky. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to put it on the edge. Now I should grab my, where is it? There it is, this tool, my little squeegee, and I'm going to be doing this as I go. Now I shouldn't have taken all of that part off of there, and she's pretty forgiving, but I'm going to do it in sections, that way I can control it a little bit better. So, got that part on there, and then we'll pull off a little bit more, so we'll pull off a little more of that backing like that, and then we'll come in with our squeegee tool. This is what I predominantly use this for, and cleaning my mats. So we're going to pull it off. Keep going. And this is if you have a large one. If it's a small one, then you just peel the whole thing off and stick it on there. But if it's a large design, being able to do it like this is super duper helpful. And I did not line that up very well, but oh well. As long as most of it's on there. Okay, coming towards the end. All right. I can actually cut this little bit off because I don't need it, but I can keep it and use it for later. There we go. Boop. All right, now we're going to keep this. Remember, later on, I'm going to put it back on there so I can use it again. So, put the scissors away. Now, the fun part. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go every bit by every bit. Sorry, this is loud. And I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to squeegee all the parts on there. I'm going to make sure I go over the letters really well because I want my letters to stick nicely. So we're just squeegeeing over it. Good and on. We'll hit it with the burr just for funsies, guys. Just for fun. Why not? If we have it, let's use it. Alright. I really want to make sure those little dots and the eyes and the letters and stuff like that that goes over good on my transfer. Oh my god, this is so cute, and it's not even on the board yet. Guys, when I tell you I make these projects, these are actual projects for my family and different things. I'm serious. That's why I get so excited. It's not just something that I want to show you guys to demo. I'm actually making this for my family. So I'm so excited to show my kids. I think they'll be excited. It's going to be a nice thing that we can bring out every year for Christmas to put our little treats on. So I'm going to come from the corner and I'm going to start peeling up. Now, if you notice, like, this part is just not wanting to stick to that transfer paper. Okay, there we go. So this camera's not as good quality, but you can at least see a little bit better what I'm doing. So we're going to start peeling. At least if I do it this way, you guys can see better. We're going to start peeling away. Now, you see how that vinyl is now sticking to that transfer tape and not this paper? That's what we want. So if you notice the one next to it, she was kind of sticking. I'm going to come in with my squeegee, I cannot talk, and squeegee her a little. So that's what we want. We want this whole thing sticking. So again, that's not holding as well as I want. I'm going to come in and do that. Now, another thing, let me get back on camera. Another way that you can do this is, or another thing to help, is if you notice like something's not sticking, I'm going to put my transfer back over it, and you can, again, squeegee her down more, or you can come and you can kind of pull her up with your nail a bit. Courtney, get on camera. There we go. Pull her up with your nail bit so she can start sticking at least a part of it. And once she starts doing that, the rest of it will go with it. So maybe if I do it like this. Trying to find the best. There we go. So say this one right here, it's not pulling up. I'm going to take my nail and and you can do this with your pick tool. I don't like doing it with my pick tool because I feel like she's going to put a hole in it. If I'm touching vinyl I want to keep, I'm going to come take my spatula tool and I'm going to put her up there with that. My brain's on. All right. Same thing with this one. We're going to just kind of push her up a little, make sure she's sticking, and then the rest of it will stick onto there and be fine. So, and what I like to do sometimes is I like to flip it over and work from the other way. And then that way I don't have a bunch of sticky stuff, you know, in the air flying around. The stickies on the bottom. Get back on camera, Courtney. There we go. The stickies on the bottom, see? Oh, you see how much easier that is? Oh my gosh, it's so good. There we go. All right, so I'm stuck on the transfer tape. Everything's stuck to the transfer tape. Okay, so now that we've got that on there, it's time to put it on our mat. So I'm going to just lightly put it on there. I'm not pressing at all. I just want to get my alignment on there. Oh, I think it looks so good. Now I am seeing a few places that might be a little empty, so later on I can of course keep adding to it. I don't have to stop adding to it. I can keep putting whatever I want. So we're going to now squeegee it onto our actual board. Now, this board will not be able to go through the dishwasher. It will be hand wash only. Even though it is permanent vinyl, still hand wash only. I don't trust that. I don't trust the dishwasher to not peel off little pieces over time. Now, you could do a clear coat or an epoxy or something like that on it to kind of seal it in. At that point, I don't know if it's machine washable or not. I don't even know if it's food grade at that point. Well, you could always just, it's the cup, and a carrot, and a few things like that. I mean, you could put a little plate, so you could still do it, and it would be fine. But this, for me, I'm not going to put anything over it. We're not going to get it really dirty. I mean, a few little crumbs here and there, but it's not going to get dirty. So I think it'll be fine. All right. So I'm going all around, and so now we're gonna pull that transfer tape away, and it's gonna leave our vinyl on there. Oh my goodness, how cool is that? That is so cool. Now, if you ever see any pulling on there, then you can always go back with the squeegee, how we put it on there. But I think this one came out so good. All right, and then we can stick that back onto there, but I do want to squeegee out anything I see. So that way, it's perfect. All right. Oh my goodness, she's heavy. Guys, how cool is that? Oh my goodness. This is cool. This is so cool. Yes, I'm playing with the light because it makes it look dramatic and it's fun. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and making this amazingly cool project. I mean, guys, that's cool. That is cool. You have to admit, that's pretty cool. I'm tooting my own horn at this moment. If you make these, please make sure to tag us on social media because I'm nosy and I want to see them. Thank you for joining me tonight and checking off another project off my to-do list. Y'all have a great night. Bye.